for Sword Art on. Hi, my name is Melanie and you're watching Rose Squad Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a re-review of a review that I wrote about 2 years ago for Sword Art Online, the first season, and I'll get to why it's just the first season in a little bit, but I thought it was kind of appropriate with the newest season coming out. Is this the fourth season? I don't know. But just kind of with the advent of that, and then I was rewatching the first season recently, I decided to kind of take a look at my thoughts from 2 years ago. The review was posted on our blog, and it never really got to me making an actual review video for it, so this is kind of the video review for Sword Art Online Season 1 from our think tank, as you would. Except it's going to be a little bit tweaked because I might have some different thoughts. So we're going to see what I thought 2 years ago. This review is looking at the portion of Sword Art Online that is focused in the SAO world, where they are in the game, they're clearing it, and it kind of ends after episode 14, where they reach a certain point and then the focus moves on later to like another game. I'm trying to be vague without doing spoilers, even though I'm sure a lot of you already know what happens. But for those of you who don't know, Sword Art Online tells the tale of an RPG game that was made supposedly somewhere in the future. It's somewhere. One of its main draw points is that it uses virtual reality technology, where the players do full dives into the computer system, so they have the game controller, as it were, is like this helmet thing, and they are like controlling their character in the game with their minds. And so obviously people are like, this is really cool, I'm going to try it out. Lots of people buy the game, and it starts, and there's all these people that are logged in and they're playing. The only thing is, you can't log out. Because the mastermind of the game has set this up so that way there's no escaping the game. You have to clear all 100 levels of the game in order to survive and get out, and also if you die in the real game, you also die in real life, so like the headset like fries your brain, which is stupendous. So now you have all these people that are trapped in this virtual reality, and they're trying to get out. Kirito is the main character of the show. He was a beta player for SAO, and his previous knowledge of the game is augmented with a natural knack for sword fighting. For being the main character, I found him rather flat. Even though the story focuses on him and the viewers watch him explore the world of the game, we don't really learn much about him as a person. I mean, I guess the anime focuses on the lives of the characters in-game rather than outside the game. But we don't really know like what is important to Kirito other than like obviously clearing the game, but we just don't really know a whole lot about him personally. Asuna is another player of the game and a friend of Kirito's, and she's a little bit more colorful and dynamic as far as her personality goes. She's more expressive, I think. I guess my main quibble is I just didn't really like any of the characters all that well. Like, there wasn't anyone that I really like connected with, and especially for like the two main characters. Like, Asuna kind of bugs me a little bit, and then Kirito is just kind of like, meh. Like, he's cool and all, but then he just kind of just like, meh. The plot, however, I found has a few more redeeming details than I originally had thought. Kind of my thoughts before were, the premise of this anime had a lot of potential, so I was disappointed with the way it was presented. The first few episodes ramble before getting to the main focus of the anime, which is clearing all 100 levels. The story advances quickly, almost too quickly. By the 7th episode, the leading players have cleared almost 3/4 of the game, but this accomplishment comes at the cost of having a weak base for the storyline. I would have enjoyed this anime more if they had used the initial episodes to more gradually advance the storyline, instead of introducing the viewer to random characters with little or no role in the overall storyline. The first few episodes describe trivial side quests and span time gaps that are ill-explained. These faults aside, I still found Sword Art Online engaging enough when it needed to be, and have enjoyed watching my favorite episodes more than once. So I still hold by this for the most part. I guess what they did well is it isn't structured like a tournament style anime where it's like, okay, you have like this thing, then this thing, and this thing, it's all leading up to this one thing, and then it just kind of gets very cyclical after a while, and you're just like, okay, great, another game, another boss fight, wonder what's going to happen, they're going to win, obviously. And so kind of focusing on the smaller, more menial tidbits of the show, I think helps with that, of just kind of pull in the audience a little bit more as they try to get to know the characters, but the characters themselves, I feel, aren't as dynamic as they could be. And then also with the introduction of some of the main side characters, it's basically pretty much building Kirito's harem. Except I would have one comment to make that I found recently. There are 2 episodes, 1, 2, I don't remember. But the one where Kirito, it's at the beginning, so it's not a spoiler. But Kirito joins this guild as he's kind of been like playing on his own, and he's like a bunch of levels above them. But he decides to join this lower level guild, and he's kind of like, oh, this is my family, you know, and then something bad happens, and they all die. Which I feel like is an okay thing to share because it really sets the stage for the rest of the show. It kind of explains why he is the way he is in a lot of aspects, with him playing alone and, you know, still having compassion for some of the other characters who, you know, who play the game with, like, you know, not trying to kill anybody because you're actually ending their life in real life. And I think I found a little bit more value in that episode, because it's sort of like in Full Metal Alchemist where you have Nina in that whole event with Shao Tucker, and everybody kind of sets the stage for their motivations for the rest of the show. So I think it's similar to that. However, I still think they could have cut out some of the other episodes and just foregone those other characters and then instead focused on building the main characters. I really would have enjoyed seeing Asuna kind of join her initial guild, you know, kind of follow her along, because mostly we just follow Kirito, and then Kirito and Asuna kind of like meet up again at some point, but we don't really know what happens to Asuna between like point A and point B. So, just some thoughts. After episode 14, my interest greatly dropped off. I didn't really build that much of an emotional connection with Kirito, and so I was like, I don't really feel motivated to keep watching. I don't really, he can go find Asuna or whatever, and I'm just gonna stay here. And he can go, and I don't really care. And I was like, okay, go live your life. I'm done. But again, I mentioned before that the episodes are still enjoying to watch, and I don't regret watching SAO. I enjoy it, and I have watched it multiple times. So, a couple other downsides, I guess, or just like things to be aware of in this anime. So obviously you have the whole thing about the characters dying and then they die in real life, and there's not really a whole lot of blood and gore, which I think is mostly due to like the digitized style of the anime. They're like in this virtual reality and they're running around and they're slashing at characters, but there's not really any blood, really. And then when characters die, they just kind of explode into like a bunch of shiny fragments, but you're kind of like, oh, they died, you know, this isn't like, oh, respawn in 10 minutes. They're dead. And so there's kind of that disturbing fact. There is a little bit of fan service going on, also with the design of some of the characters. One of the upsides for this anime, and probably the reason that I keep watching it, is that it's so stinking pretty. The animation is really gorgeous. They bring the world to life, and it's bright and it's colorful, and it's just really fun to watch. It's like eye candy, pretty much. I also enjoyed this music and sound effects of Sword Art Online. For example, each weapon has like a unique sound that it makes, and just like the little details are really well done. And I also enjoyed the theme song, which is always a nice point when you can just watch through the whole theme song and you don't feel the urge to be like, let's skip this please, because I'm tired of seeing it, because it's just such a joy to watch. So this anime was based on a light novel series by the same name. There are several subsequent series, which we've kind of mentioned. And then there are also several manga adaptations to the series. Adaptations. words. There's not really any fillers in the series as such. There's about 25 episodes in the first season, obviously. I'm just looking at like the first 14 or so. Just kind of, looking at that because that's the 25 episodes kind of continues on to like Alfheim Online. And that's where that continues, and then after that you have like Ungale Online, and etc. But that's kind of the breadth of the first season. And you can watch this on Crunchyroll, and I believe Hulu also carries it as well. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It was kind of interesting for me to kind of look back at my thoughts from 2 years ago and kind of be like, okay, what do I think now? So if you have any thoughts about Sword Art Online, if this was your first anime, or if you really enjoyed it, or if you didn't like it, tell me why. I'd be interested to hear in the comments below. And this is your captain signing off. I will see you next time.